Hey everybody, J-Man here. Let's talk about Madam Web. Okay, I'm going to review this movie using my space system. Story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. Each category gets a score between 0 and 2. 2 is the best that you can get in any category. If I give this movie a 10 out of 10, I'm not saying this is the greatest movie of all time or anything like that, or I'm not saying it's better than 2001: A Space Odyssey or Blade Runner. I'm ranking this movie based on your expectation level and other Sony Spider-Man kind of movies. That's all sort of one universe. So that's what we're comparing it to. That said, let's start off with the story. I'm going to give the story a very generous mark of 0.5 out of 2. If I give a 1, that means it was okay. If any category gets a 1, that's okay. So if a movie gets like a 5 or 6 out of 10, that's like, yeah, it was okay. Storyline 0.5. The storyline here is whatever the writers want in order to make sure something happens. Like, everything is contrived. Like, it's unbelievable. I would have to do a commentary. If this movie comes out, I will do a commentary during the entire thing to explain how dumb everything is. It's just like dialogue is bad. Like every scene is nonsense. It's crazy. The reason I'm not giving it a 0 is that there was something there that I thought, well, this might be, there's something there. Like there could have been a little bit of a plot thread somewhere that could have been somewhat interesting. The problem is that this is a big time bait and switch. You're sitting there wondering, look, I'm not an idiot. I knew that this movie wasn't going to be very good, right? Like, let's face the facts. However, I'm a Spider-Man fan. I thought, let me go watch this. Worst case scenario, I'll get to see the Spider-Women fighting that Ezekiel guy. I thought the Spider-Women, they're in costume. You see them in the trailer. I thought they're going to fight Ezekiel. That'll be cool. That does not happen. Spoiler alert, they are not in these costumes. They have no powers. They're in the costumes for 2 seconds. Ezekiel has a vision that the Spider-Women are going to kill him, so he wants to stop them first. He doesn't have a vision of anything else that happens in the movie, which is weird because Madam Web constantly has visions about every second, or at least when the plot needs her to have a vision so that she can prevent something. She doesn't have a vision when the plot doesn't want her to have it. But he sees them killing him, so he's like, oh, I better kill them first. So you're sitting there. Let's talk about the pacing. The pacing, I'll give it a 0.5 for pacing. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I get it. So they're going to get the powers. I'm like, well, when are these girls getting the powers? And I'm waiting. And I wasn't bored. I wasn't bored per se, but the pacing's not very good. So I can't give it higher than 0.5 because nothing's going on to drive the story. So you're just kind of sitting there. It's like they're just meandering around. But I was sitting there and I thought, okay, well, the Spider-Women are going to get their powers and start fighting or whatever, get costumes. And then I was waiting. And about an hour in, I looked at my watch and I thought, this movie's only 2 hours. Like, they got to like get going here. And an hour and a half passes and I'm thinking, they're not going to have the powers, are they? They're not going to be in costume in this movie at all. All the trailers, you see still shots. There's always somebody online who posts the comic book picture and then puts the movie picture, be like, oh, look, it's so close to it. Oh, this is the exact costume. Who cares? They're not in it. If they're not in it, I can't believe it. If you saw Snake Eyes at the very end, remember Snake Eyes? He's not even in costume at the very end. He has the costume for like a second. You're like, that's not Snake Eyes. That's what this is. It's just Madam Web. Unfortunately, look, this movie's bad. I'll give you my rating. I'll give you my final thoughts at the end. For the artistry, I'll give it a 1. Like, the music was kind of passable. There was 3 action scenes that weren't too bad. The problem is that Ezekiel has majority of the spider powers, not all of them. So he's jumping around destroying shit, and the girls don't have any powers. So it's 3 teenage girls running around, or not teenage. I don't know how old they are. They're all like 30 years old or something, or whatever. They're all running around, and you're like, okay, but Madam Web doesn't really have any powers that can fight Ezekiel. So it's just like he's just there. And they're just running away. You're like, well, this isn't exciting. Like, there is action and he looks cool when he's doing stuff, but it's not exciting because they can't really fight back. So that makes it less appealing, but it still looks good. Like, I could tell what was going on. None of that kind of weirdness. So yeah, so one for the artistry. While I'm on artistry, I do want to say, mention my channel sponsor, beardedshirts.com. Check out this awesome print all over shirt with Dazzler. This is the first appearance of Dazzler in X-Men, a female character, which I really like. Bearded Shirts is my channel sponsor. So if you sign up and become a Legionnaire, we enter you in a draw to win something from Bearded Shirts. And if you don't want to, that's cool too. Check out their website. They got sales on all the time. The link is in the description. Characters. I'm going to give the characters 0.5 as well. So Ben is in this, Ben Parker, and Peter's there, and they have some fun with Peter and Ben, and it's just not good. It's not good at all, because at one point they're late, or sorry, Ezekiel's coming to kill them, and then they've got to come out of hiding, and they got to come out of hiding because Peter's about to be born, and you're like, well, Peter now has inadvertently put them in danger. It's like, I don't like that. The girls, the three girls, I mean, yeah, like, I mean, they're attractive for sure. You know, like young, good looking girls, but like they have no character. There's no personality there at all. They're just there to be there. If any one of them saying any line of dialogue could be interchanged with any one of the others. And all the characters have bad backgrounds. I know it's a superhero thing. Oh, my parents are in a way. My dad left us, whatever. It seems like all the parents are bad, you know, whatever. Dakota Johnson as Madam Web. Like, the problem is that she doesn't want, you don't like her. It's not that I didn't dislike any of the characters, but I didn't like any of them either. They're just there. But not, if they were just there, I'd give it a score of 1, but I got to give it a 0.5 because Dakota Johnson does a lot of dumb things, and it's like, oh, her mom died, and then she realized, oh, that she was trying to save me. It's like, it's so contrived and bad. But she steals it at one point. She needs a car, and she steals a paramedic. She steals an ambulance, and you're like, but that ambulance was en route to help someone, and now you've stolen the ambulance. What the hell's that? So that person who needed it is now what, gonna die or what? She's not very friendly. She's not personable, and I don't understand why. Like, she could have, like, there was times where she was okay. So I don't know. The other girls, again, they're okay. They're just there, but nothing to be like. I didn't walk out and be like, oh man, you know, like, you know, whatever. Like, she was awesome, or I don't even remember their names. There's no Jessica Drew. I don't even know which Spider-Women were supposed to be in this, to be honest with you. So you can let me know in the comments, I guess. Julia is there, and like, that's the only person that's the only name I recognize, but it's there. It's just, it doesn't even matter. You could have said it's anybody. You could have said, oh, that's Supergirl, and it'd be like, well, that's not in the right, that's a DC character. Who cares? It's just like people talking. They just talk, and that's it. Everything is contrived. Every plot device is like super obvious. I could spoil the whole movie for you. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but yeah, enjoyment factor. I mean, I'll give it a 0.5. Like, you know, I'm probably going to buy it for the collection, my little collection of stuff. But really, I mean, what the hell, guys? Like, this was like not very good at all. I walked in, so I'm giving it a 3 out of 10, which is very generous. It should probably be like a 2 out of 10. I'm a little bit biased. I told my buddies it's a 2 out of 10, but I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. I don't think it's Eternals bad. There's some cringe stuff, but not super mega cringe. It's not Eternals bad. Would I say I would definitely say it's worse than the Marvels, easy, because the Marvels still had colorful action and powers, and, you know, the girls are fighting and stuff. That's kind of cool. I knew that this movie wasn't going to be great, but I thought, I'll go see it. I want to see the Spider-Women fighting Ezekiel. That'll be kind of neat. And the rest of it's going to be awful. So I don't think there was anything super cringe awful. I mean, it is all the women, but it's not really a girl power movie, because the girls aren't really that good. They're just losers. Like Madam Web has to run around and save them. So there's definitely no girl power things going on. There is some weirdness. Like, you start to notice that, how come, except for Ben Parker, there's like literally no, I can't think of any men that were like either they just weren't there or shown in a negative way. Like Ezekiel's a bad guy, but it seems like all of there was no men in this movie except for Ben Parker. Now, he was a good person. Like, they didn't portray him bad or anything like that. Take that for what you will. You could say that's a woke thing or not. I mean, look, it's a female superhero movie, so you're gonna have the girls be front and center. It doesn't really bother me, so I don't want to go out and say this is like a woke trash thing or cringe or whatever. It's just not great. So we're in this position where, yeah, you know, this isn't a very good movie. You sucked out any possible excitement by not having the Spider Women. When your entire ad campaign and everything is revolving around them and their costumes, and then they're not in the movie at all. They're literally, he has a dream about them. So it's about 10 seconds of footage. And at the very, very end, Madam Web looks into the future and sees them for about a second or two. That's it. No costumes, no powers. They do not shoot webs. They don't do anything. I'm absolutely stunned, to be honest with you. I actually thought that they were going to be in this movie fighting. I have not been this like surprised in a long time, like where I literally thought, look, and all my buddies were like, I don't want to see this. It looks really stupid. And it was stupid, granted, but I thought, well, there'll be like, even the Marvels. It's like, look, it's a terrible plot. I gave the Marvels a 5 out of 10. I gave Marvels 5 out of 10. I'm giving this a 3 out of 10. So this is worse. But Marvels had fighting and action, right? You know, I didn't find the girls to be super cringe or anything. It's just not a very good movie, right? Like the Marvels is just like not a good movie. This might be maybe a better movie than the Marvels, but there's nothing to get excited for. Like no one's gonna buy the figures. Like you might think, oh, Monica Rambeau looks cool, right? And I bought a Monica Rambeau because I don't have any Monica Rambeau toys. I have 0 Monica Rambeau toys. So when that came, I was like, well, I got to get a Monica toy because I like Monica from the comics from when I was reading way back in the day. This one, you're like, no. Am I going to buy any of these figures or Funkos or you know, posters or something? It's like, no. Like, it's not good. So 3 out of 10. Look, we knew this was going to not be good. But I didn't think it was going to be this. I thought it was going to be like a 5 or 6 out of 10 and be like, yeah, it wasn't that good. This is a big time disappointment. If you really liked this movie, please explain why. Even just as a movie, even if you said, hey, there's no Spider-Woman in this, it's just about Madam Web, that's it, get that out of your mind, then it might be like a 4 or 5 out of 10, maybe. But again, I'm reviewing this based on expectation levels. And they said there's going to be the Spider-Women. Now, I didn't think they were going to be in it that much, but I thought there would at least be one action scene at the end where they're all fighting together. Doesn't happen. So 3 out of 10. That is it, everybody. If you like my space rating system, please like the video, share the video, subscribe, all that great stuff. That is it. Until next time.